be for us, who can be against us? There's nothing in this world that can defeat us if God is for us. It is impossible to have victory and think bondage. It's impossible to be happy and think sadness and depression.
You can pick up ideas that can change your life starting tomorrow. Just be a more careful observer. Now remember, there's two ways to see. One is called sight. The other one is called insight. See with your eyes, you'll see things. See with your mind, you'll see answers. Put your eyes and your mind to work. Don't miss anything. You've got to learn to zero in and concentrate. Wherever you are, be there.
I'm encouraging you to be mindful and be deliberate of what you let in your mind. Be concerned about what's going on and do the things necessary that keeps you out of harm's way. But don't be consumed with it. So make up your mind to wake up with prayer, to watch something that inspires you, that lift you up as you rethink your life and self-examination. This is a time to look at the relationships in your life and ask the question, what kind of person am I becoming because of this relationship? Am I growing mentally and emotionally and spiritually? Am I becoming a better person because of this relationship? Is it an asset to me or a liability?
And a lot of times, by the time people really get down to seeing who you really are, they run from you. What we really want is for somebody to love us for who we are. And what we really want is to have the kind of intimate relationship with them that allows us the freedom of not needing to camouflage who we are, what we think, how we speak, and how we understand. Without that freedom, we begin to be actors acting out a role in the house for which we eventually become weary of, and we break out of the role because we want to be free to be ourselves.
I think don't save that last bullet for yourself. You lock and load that last bullet and you shoot it at your enemy. And you keep fighting and you keep fighting no matter what. And you never will. And if you feel like your life is in a place where you can't get any lower, good. Because that means the ultimate challenge is ahead of you. It means you can only go up.
As long as God wakes you up, that means he ain't through with you yet.
It's in our lives that we feel completely alone. We feel as though no one knows what we're going through. It is because of the uniqueness of the challenges that confront you are so unique to you that you feel like I'm up against it all by myself.
It's an uphill battle. And along that road, you're not going to see too many friends. You're going to see your shadow most often. See, the thing is, for many people, they've tried the same path you're on, and they failed. As you walk this journey, you're going to see carcasses all over the place of people that didn't quite have it. It's that your success is like a spotlight shining down on their missed opportunities. Success, many will love you for it. The majority will hate you because your success reminds them of where they could have done it, but they came up short and how they didn't revisit it. The difference between a winner and a loser, the failure's there every single time. It's just the winner gets back up and does it again until it goes his way. So now you're down that path and you're all alone.
And generally, that type of circumstance is born because it's not because you don't have anybody to talk to, but can you trust them? Eventually, even the most disciplined amongst us, the corners of your mouth will droop down. Your smile will turn into a frown. Eventually, even if you have to wait till everybody's gone to sleep, a tear will run across the bridge of your nose because you're dealing with stuff that is so deep and so complicated that you feel like you're in it by yourself. But you are not alone in the battle. You're not alone in the struggle, that God has a strategy. And when it's all over, you're going to see that even though you couldn't see him, he was there all the time.
I promise you guys, if today you never say good enough, tomorrow you'll always have enough. What I'm saying is the character of who you are. The character defines the success, defines the fame, and it starts right there. Championships aren't won in the theater of the arena. They're won in the thousands of hours in the training room, in the labs, in the 5 a.m. runs, when everyone else is sleeping. That's when it's won. The heart of a champion is a light switch that's always on. It doesn't go on and off when someone's watching. It's constant. It begins right now with no one looking, man. And how you hold yourself, how you see yourself. What do you do when no one's watching? If you do it then, I guarantee you, you'll be doing it when everyone's watching.
Your heart, your life, your happiness is your responsibility and your responsibility alone. It's not your fault if your partner cheated and ruined your marriage, but it is for damn sure your responsibility to figure out how to take that pain and how to overcome that and build a happy life for yourself. As long as we're pointing the finger and stuck in whose fault something is, you are stuck in suffering. The road to power is in taking responsibility.
Take full responsibility for what happens to you. Accepting full responsibility. It's the day you know you've passed from childhood to adulthood. Learn to reap in the fall without apology if you do well, and without complaint if you don't. That's maturity. I used to have that long list of reasons why I wasn't doing well. I blame my negative relatives. They were always putting me down. I blame my cynical neighbors. They're just selfish, looking out for themselves. Won't loan you money? I used to blame the economy. I blame the community. That's a pretty good list for not doing well, isn't it?
The road to power is in taking responsibility. Your heart, your life, your happiness is your responsibility and your responsibility alone. Taking responsibility, accepting responsibility is not an admission of guilt. Taking responsibility is a recognition of the power that you seize when you stop blaming people. It's not like you're letting somebody who wronged you off the hook. Taking responsibility is taking your power back.
A few months later, I learned very quickly to tear up my list, reasons for not doing well, and I threw it away. And I got me a fresh piece of paper, and I put one word on it. Me. There's a Black Heritage spiritual that says, it's not my mother, nor my father, nor my brother, nor my sister, but it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. It's not what happens, it's what you do. If anything can go wrong, it will. That's one of Murphy's laws. So here's one of the key questions of the evening. Starting tomorrow, what are you going to do that'll make a change in your life's direction? Now see, if you don't do something starting tomorrow that'll make a difference, guess what? Because the next 5 are going to be like the last 5 unless you, major key, tomorrow, change it all. Or change a little, or change something, or don't change. It's choice time. You can do whatever you want. But it's nice to know any day you wish you can change your whole life.
We go through the actions of commitment, but we're not really committed. We're not really connected. We're not really joined because we have no understanding of our responsibility to any relationship. You cannot have true relationship without reciprocity. You cannot get into a relationship to get and not give. You collect anniversaries, you've got a lot of birthdays, but you've never been the person that you could be because the could be is locked up behind commitment, and until you're committed, you'll never get the could be. Wonder what would have happened in school if you'd been committed. Wonder what would have happened in your marriage if you'd have really thrown your whole self. You've always been casual.
In what you've done with your life thus far, is it giving you what you want? Is it giving you what you want? When you look toward the future, when you look at all that's going on out here, is there some place within yourself you say, hey, I know I need to be out there in that arena. I know I can do more than what I've been doing. Is that something that you begin to look at within yourself? See, I say if you look at your life, and if you're not getting what you want, you owe it to yourself to do something differently. You're on a job. 85% of Americans go to jobs that they're unhappy. If you're doing something 8 hours a day that you don't like, it's not giving you what you want, it's not giving you a strong feeling of satisfaction and fulfillment, If that's what it is, you owe it to yourself to start strategically working to change directions. Most people will resist change. Most people will fight change as if change would be worse than what they're experiencing. Most people will not challenge the unknown. They won't just step out there. See, there are certain things that's got to be in place. They got to see it all together. And life isn't like that. That's not how you grow. As you begin to look toward the future, begin to know that whatever it takes for you to create that, you got that. You've got genius in you. You've got goodness in you. If you decide to take the initiative to change the current quality of your life, I say to you that you will find that the universe is on your side. Will it be easy? No. Will you have some opposition? Yes. Will I make a lot of mistakes? Yes. See, a lot of people won't try anything different in life because they don't want to get hurt. Pain is everywhere. But most people spend their life not wanting to deal with the pain of rejection, the pain of being disappointed, the pain of being criticized, the pain. That's called life. But guess what? There's no gain without pain.
If you don't know exactly what you want, or you let yourself get beyond that into something general, you're not going to achieve it. Clarity is power. You got to know the specific result you're after. What do you want? Why you're doing it? Because you know what? You may get a big goal. Somebody says, I want to make $1 billion. I want to bring peace to the earth. Why? Because as soon as you come up with a goal, all the obstacles show up. So you got to get yourself past that. And the way to get past that is have enough reasons. Reasons come first. Answers come second. To ask intelligent, you got to know why you want it, have enough drive to make it happen, enough juice to make it happen. If you don't have enough reasons, you will not make it happen. What is going to get you to actually fall through? Because the first plan's not going to work and the second plan's going to work, so you better have enough plans that if the first two don't work, you still got something else. Otherwise, you're going to be having excuses why it didn't work.
That's a pain. Don't you know that's something? When you know, I was in a seminar once and this lady stood up. If I had my life to live over again, she talked about all of the things that she would do. And you can feel the pain of regret in her voice. She was trying not to experience the pain of defeat, the pain of disappointment, the pain of loss, and she still experienced pain. It was right there. Most people are governed by their habits, their fears, and the opinions of others. A lot of people never try anything differently because they have been convinced by people in their lives that they value that they can't do it. They're living within the context of the opinions that other people have of them. The low expectations. Many people doubt themselves because when they thought about doing something at some critical point in their lives, somebody they respected and honored, someone they trusted said, you can't do that. And they accepted that.
And then you're married. If you'd have really thrown your whole self, you've always been casual and never been committed.
First and foremost, the thing I want y'all to understand, I will never let a circumstance or a situation define my life. I have been working my whole life. And what I didn't understand by being determined to chase something, by being committed to it, commitment is staying true to what you said you were going to do long after the mood that you have set it in has left. You see, people think commitment is saying, yes, I'll do it on the days when it feel good. But I have been committed to everything that I ever started in my life and I never quit it. And so by being committed to everything that I started, I finished it. It built a certain type of spirit. It built a certain type of individual. And so now I couldn't quit even if I wanted to. I couldn't stop even if I wanted to. I had too much sweat equity in my life and everything that I was doing. I understood the process is more important than the product. It wasn't about the outcome for me, but I was going to fall in love with that process because I understood by falling in love with that process, it was going to turn me into a machine.
Your whole life is a facade. The whole thing is a fake. And now you're getting older and you'll never get to see what you could have been because the cost is a commitment that you've never been willing to pay. Half studied, half worked, and then wonder why I thought I'd be further than I am at the age. It is not the devil, it is not demons, and it's sure God ain't haters because you have never thrown your whole self at anything in your life. And you think greatness goes on sale. But true quality never goes on sale.
Promise yourself you'll read the books until your skills change. You'll practice it until you develop the skills. Never give up until however long that is, step by step, piece by piece, go for it. Don't miss the chance to grow. Then you'll discover some of life's best treasures when you pay that price.
God's up to some amazing stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, as you look at yourself, look at your goals and dreams. As we look at all that's going on, here's what we know. God is up to some amazing stuff. Because in this thing called life, it's about handling and transforming ourselves to accommodate the disruptions of life. As you look at yourself, look at your goals and dreams. What's most important is just keep focused that your faith is a down payment on your future. Come on, somebody. Focus on your faith, not your problems. Focus on your faith, not your bills. Focus on keeping yourself strong, because the problems and challenges, they will always be there. If it ain't one thing, it's another. That's a part of life. Keep this in mind. Good quote. When things go wrong, don't go with them. Hello? There are things that's going to happen. Sometimes people will snap on you. I'm on the elevator and they clearly, you can only have 4 people on there at a time. Then this guy going to run and jump on there to be the 5th person. That's excuse me, sir. You see these spots here? You're not supposed to be in the middle of us. He looked at us and waved his hand. And I'm saying to myself, you about to make me lose my mind. And he's one of those people that aggravate me, who wear their mask beneath their nose. And he went, phew. I said, hey, homie, you better pull that up. Do you hear me? So in this place where we are, it's a special time. What are the talents? What are the skills? What are the ideas that you can be working on right now that can change your life? A lot of people spend all kind of TV time and watching old fights and sporting events. But this is no time to be a fan. Listen to me. Listen to me. You have something special. I believe that we all have built-in greatness. But most people don't take the time to put in the effort and the time to discover that greatness. And if you don't focus, if you don't put in the effort, if you don't work it, it doesn't work. And I say to you, this time where we are, God is up to some amazing stuff. There's a reckoning going on. Things are being exposed. The sheet, the curtain is being pulled back. It's going to take everything in you. It's going to take everything in you. Take no prisoners. And if you have this kind of mindset, even if you don't have 2 pennies to rub together, even if you're going through foreclosure, even if you've had your car repossessed, all that, it doesn't mean anything. What matters most, not what happens to you, but what happens in you. Do what you have to do to reach your goal, to change your life. Do what you have to do. And see, a lot of people don't want to do what they have to do. You know what they don't want to do? They don't want to work, so they prefer to suffer. Commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. You are more than a conqueror. When you focus on the possibilities, when you focus and put your energy on working on finding the solution, as Willie Jolly would say, a setback is a setup for a comeback. You have comeback power. You have greatness in you. And your circumstances, your situation, that does not determine it. That's why we are told, judge not according to appearances. There's mindsight and there is eyesight. People who have mindsight, they call forth those things that be not. They live out of their imagination and not their history. Your faith is a down payment on your future. Keep the faith even as things are going on right now with all the divisiveness, with all the lies. Keep the faith, baby, and social distancing. Oh, keep the faith. You were born to do great things.
We can all find a reason to live sour, to have a chip on our shoulders. You have to learn to let things go. What's happened in your past cannot stop what God has in your future. God wouldn't have allowed it if it was going to keep you from your destiny. But if we go around discouraged, why did it happen? Why did this door close? That's going to keep us from the new things God has in store. The scripture says the rain falls on the just and the unjust. No one is exempt from difficulties. But here's the key. If you'll stay in faith, that setback is setting you up for God to show out in your life. Instead of being sour, put on this fresh new attitude. Father, you said you'd give me beauty for these ashes. You said what was meant for harm, you would turn to my advantage. So Lord, I want to thank you that I'm not only coming out, but I'm going to come out better. In the scripture, Job went through a great trial. Wasn't fair. He didn't do anything wrong, but everything fell apart. At first, he had a bad attitude. He complained and was bitter, but he didn't stay there. When it looked like he was done, like there was no reason to have hope, he looked up to the heavens and said, I know my Redeemer lives. He was saying, I know God is still on the throne. I know he's bigger than what I'm facing. He put on this fresh new attitude. If he would have stayed bitter, angry, discouraged, we wouldn't be talking about it. When it was all said and done, Job came out with twice what he had before. In difficult times, it's tempting to get sour. Joel, I was doing the right thing. Had this bad break. This setback came out of nowhere. You have to do like Job. Put your foot down and say, I refuse to go through life with a bad attitude. I am not going to let what happened to me, who did me wrong, what I didn't get, keep me from becoming all I was created to be. God, I know you being for me is more than the world being against me. That's what allows God to show out in your life. Too often, we're holding on to the hurts, disappointments, the things we don't understand. That poisons our attitude, steals our passion. You have to let it go. This is a new day. The scripture talks about how God created you to be like an eagle, to soar. What's interesting is an eagle doesn't eat anything that's dead. Unlike other animals that will eat a carcass, a coyote that will eat a dead cow, an eagle only feeds off of live foods, swoops down to the ocean and picks up a live fish. If you're going to be an eagle, if you're going to soar, you can't go back to the dead things in your life. Too many people are feeding off of what didn't work out, reliving the disappointments, the mistakes, the bad breaks. When they wake up, first thing they think about, who hurt them, the people that did them wrong. Quit feeding off that dead food. You can't put poison into your spirit and live a victorious life. Let it go. That's over and done. Now start feeding on live food. You know what's alive? You know the healthiest food you can put in your spirit? Promises from the scripture. I will live and not die and declare the works of the Lord. Thanks be to God who always causes me to triumph. What are you feeding on? Pay attention to what you're putting in your spirit. You're called to be an eagle, but sometimes we're acting like a chicken. Do you know a chicken will eat its own waste? A chicken feeds off of what's been discarded, off of what's supposed to be trash. Maybe that's why a chicken has wings, but it can't really fly. It holds on to what it should have released. You need to view the negative things in your life as waste. No, God doesn't waste it, but you're not supposed to feed on it. It's over. You've been through it. You've eliminated it. Now move on. Don't go back to what you've released. If you're always feeding off of what's been discarded, reliving old hurts, thinking about what you've lost, that's going to keep you from flying. But God didn't give you wings so you can stay on the ground. He didn't say you will mount up like chickens. He called you an eagle. He created you to soar. Don't let a wrong attitude keep you grounded. My father had heart disease most of his life. He struggled with his blood pressure. He came from a family that had to fight that. When I was a teenager, we used to go watch the Astros play baseball. Walking from the parking lot to the stadium, my father would have to stop several times and rest. He was out of breath. It'd been that way so long, that was normal to him. He eventually went to the doctor and they discovered the arteries to his heart were almost completely clogged. The doctor said he was only operating on 30% of what he should be. He eventually had open heart surgery. They removed all the blockage. My father was like a new man. He could walk for miles. Sometimes, like my father, our heart has become clogged. Not physically, but with offense, with self-pity, with discouragement. We don't realize it, but we're only operating at a percentage of what we should be. We wonder why our marriage is stale, why we're not passionate about our dreams. There are contaminants blocking the flow. We've allowed these poisons to clog up the blessings, the joy, the ideas that belong to us. The good news is you can get back to who you were created to be. You don't have to have a doctor. You can make these changes. If you will get rid of the offense, the critical spirit, the negative attitude, you'll get that spring back in your step. You'll not only enjoy life more, but you'll see favor in greater ways. What could you be if your heart was totally unclogged? How high could you fly if you didn't have contaminants holding you back? It's time to find out. Get up every morning. Start putting on this fresh, new attitude. This day is a gift from God. It is filled with possibilities, new ideas, new friendships. I'm asking you, like that airplane, to live nose high, focused on the good, focused on the possible.